98 FM Sport.
Sean Maguire, welcome to 98 FM's and That's What I Call Sport. How are you?
Very well, Jamie, yourself?
Great, thanks, Sean. Sean, thank you so much for joining us. You, on Sunday, are getting ready to jump in the car to get to the ferry to go and start your new life with Preston North End in the English Championship, Sean. Congrats on the move, first of all. I know we hoped to speak to you when it was announced, but Cork weren't allowing you to do interviews because you were focusing on your job there. 20 goals in 21 league games this season, the top goal scorer in the country, Sean. And you're heading off later on to go and start your new life in Preston, so you must be an excited young man.
Yeah, look, I haven't really got much time to think about it. Like, you know, I suppose with all Europa League games coming up in the league games, but, you know, I suppose when the game finished last Thursday, I think my head was just focused on getting over now to Preston tomorrow morning, and you know, going into, obviously we met the boys a couple of weeks ago, so I know a lot of them anyway before I went to them, so I'm comfortable with them already. So I'm really looking forward to it. Like, if we start training on Monday, we'll be looking to make an impression straight away, you know, to make a claim for that starting place in a couple of weeks' time.
Sean, let's first talk about your time at Cork City, your final game for the club, a 1-0 defeat away to AEK Larnaca in the Europa League on Thursday. That was a 2-0 aggregate scoreline, and not too often this season Cork have failed to score in matches, certainly not in 2 matches in a row, and I know everybody very disappointed to be knocked out of Europe.
Yeah, it was very frustrating, Jamie. Like, you know, the first leg I thought there was nothing between the two teams. I think they got a scrappy goal from a corner, and which we didn't. I think we gave them away too much respect that day, and you know, we kind of sat off. We didn't press them as well as we thought we should have, and you know, they got a goal from a scrappy corner, and we felt that we didn't play to our best of our ability. Like, we didn't really create anything at all, and you know, I was quite confident going out there, thinking we were going to change things around, but it wasn't meant to be. Like, I felt that we could have played a lot better on the day as well last Thursday. And, you know, the conditions were quite hard. Like, you know, playing in 35 degrees heat was not going to obviously use it as an excuse, but you know, it was quite tough. But I felt that we didn't play to the best of our ability again, and you know, it was so frustrating. You know, obviously our last game for the club, you know, I was hoping to leave with a bang, but it wasn't meant to be. And you know, obviously the boys are just focused on now to hopefully get the job done in the league, and obviously hopefully to retain that cup now by the end of the year.
Yeah, certainly from a league point of view, Sean, you finished with a bang, a goal against Bray at the Carlisle grounds on Sunday. You hit the post as well, and that was your 20th league goal. Emotional stuff. I know John took you off towards the end, and a huge Cork crowd were there to cheer you off. And I know we were chatting on WhatsApp during the week. David Marr from Sportsfile, and his photo of yourself and John having an embrace outside the away dressing room at the Carlisle grounds. So, an emotional day for you, I'm sure. Mixed feelings. You're going to start a new dream, but at the same time leaving the club where you've had your greatest success in your young career so far.
Yeah, it was a very emotional day. You know, I think it was a sunny afternoon in Bray. I think there was 1,800 at the game, and I think there was definitely over 1,000 Cork fans, and it shows how passionate they are about their football side, and it's a credit to them, because obviously without them I wouldn't be in this position. Obviously going over to Preston, and look, it was. Obviously, going into the game, I felt that if I get a goal, I equalled the record, Pat Morley's record of 20 league goals, in which I did. And, I scored quite early, and I thought I was going to break that, but it wasn't meant to be. I hit the post, and it had a couple other chances. I could have spent the whole day there, and I probably couldn't have got that second goal. But look, listen, I've spent a year and a half at Cork, and I've loved every single minute of it. I felt the love for this city. There's a love for this club has grew, by the day, and I owe a lot to this club, because I feel that before I came to Cork, I was nowhere to be. Like, I think John, I've said it to you before, he took the gamble on me to bring me here, give me the opportunity, and I repaid the faith in him, and the faith he showed in me. So look, it's obviously very frustrating. Like, obviously last Thursday that we couldn't leave with a bang, but I've loved every single minute of it here.
Sean, since you've signed for Cork, you've done so well, scoring the winning goal in the FAI Cup final last year, and I suppose the speculation about a move for you has grown and grown this season, and it was probably the worst kept secret in football that you were going to move to Preston. It was announced, and the club decided you weren't doing any media around the move, and you've just stayed on the pitch and you've scored goals consistently every week. The hat-trick, I think the night before the move was announced, you scored a hat-trick away to Dundalk. You've scored goals, in almost every match since. How have you managed to stay so focused and play so well, knowing that the move is secured? And I'm sure everybody in Preston and the fans and the staff there are checking Twitter and live score every week and seeing that you're continuing to score goals. And it's a credit to you that you've kept your form and probably improved even since the move was announced.
Yeah, I think confidence has to do a lot with it. Obviously scored that hat-trick up in the Oriel, the day before it got announced. And, I obviously knew for a long time before that it was, a pretty much done deal. And, I think the aim was just to stay focused, keep doing what I was doing, scoring goals. And, as you said there, I felt that, every game I was going into, I was improving. I felt that going into every game that I was going to score, which, even last year it's a totally different type of confidence I've had this year, because last year I had a great season scoring 29 goals, but this season now I felt like, I brought it to, I suppose, a different level. Obviously I think it's 25, 26 goals now I've scored in all competitions, and it's credit to, the backroom staff, because we had done a lot of work and, pre-season, off the pitch in the gym and stuff like that with our strength and conditions coach Kevin Tatton, and you could see it out there. Even all the boys, we all look fit. We score a lot of our goals in the last 20, 25 minutes, and as I said there, I feel a lot stronger, fitter, sharper, and you see it this season. I've scored a lot of headers. I feel like I've that extra spring in my feet, and then it's I suppose it's a credit to the club.
Yeah, well, certainly there's not too many strikers in this league who outjump big Hughie Douglas from Bray to score a header, Sean, and you did just that at the Carlisle grounds on Sunday. Sean, I saw a photo of you during the week on Twitter playing for Dundalk in the early days, and your hair is longer and you're not as fit and you're not in their team too much, and in comparison to now, you're lean, you're strong, you're fit, you look quicker, you're playing with so much more confidence. Is there a comparison? Well, there definitely is. What comparison would you make to the Seani Maguire who played in the league, some games for Sligo, some games for Dundalk, to the Seani Maguire who's just gone to Cork and ripped things up? Because apart from the credit that's due to Cork and due to John, yourself personally, you've transformed yourself into the best striker in the country. Yeah,
look, I feel like I'm a lot more mature, nowadays. I feel like I came to Cork as a boy. I'm leaving a man, and it's as I said, it's credit to the club. It's, I can't speak highly enough of John and the opportunity he gave for me to to come down here and show, I suppose, the league how good I am. And funny enough, before I came to Cork, I think it was my first season. Last year playing as an actual number 9. Before that, on loan to Sligo, Accrington, even at Dundalk, I was playing more so as a number 10 and out in the wing. I was just given the opportunity just to get back loving the game, enjoying my football. There's no better feeling, waking up on a Friday morning knowing you're actually going to be playing that Friday night, and waking up the Saturday morning knowing you're going to be sore after playing the game. And it's obviously, I can speak in behalf of every striker. Confidence is a major part in a striker. Because if you're low in confidence, you're not scoring 2-3 games, you're going to feel the world is against you. And ever since I've come to Cork, I haven't felt that at all. I felt that every game I'm going into, I know I'm going to score. And, there's a few stages last season where John took me out of the team, and he felt that I haven't scored in 2-3 games. I wasn't performing to my best of my ability, and he took me out. When I came back a better player in the game, he brought me back in, and that shows you the relationship we have with each other. He knows my strengths, he knows my weaknesses, and obviously the relationship off the pitch is just as important on the pitch, and you could see that with John and his players.
Sean, you shot onto the League of Ireland scene back in 2011, 2012 at your hometown club, Waterford United, or your local club at least, and finished top scorer in the First Division back in 2012. You then moved to West Ham. You spent time at West Ham, then back to Sligo, back on loan to Accrington again. What needs to be different for Seani Maguire moving to England now than on the first occasion when, for whatever reason, things didn't work out when you had to come home?
Look, I suppose when I went over to West Ham, I took a lot of it for granted. I felt that, I'm a West Ham player now, and, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. And, I didn't really, I have a lot, I have a few regrets. Obviously, I could have, done a few things differently. But as I said to you there a couple of minutes ago, I think it's a lot to do with maturity. I think, I was I suppose 17, 18-year-old going off to West Ham was, you know, I was very like immature. Like I didn't know what was right and what was wrong, and you know, now I feel like going off to England now I'm a much better, you know, person, a player as well. Like obviously a lot of my game has changed now to what it was back then, and you know, and now I'd be looking now to make a big impact now going off to Preston. Obviously now the first game of the season is, you know, 2 weeks today. You know, I'll be looking to get over there Monday now, show the new gaffer that I'm the number one striker. You know, obviously to play me every week, and you know, I just need to just keep my head down now, keep working hard, and you know, I'm sure the opportunity will just will come about.
Sean, how do you transfer the Sean Maguire, who's been so good for Cork, to a Sean Maguire who you hope will be so good for Preston in the Championship, because it is a definite up in standards, and you've scored goals at this level, you've scored goals in European qualifiers as well, but to score goals on a consistent basis in the Championship will not be, I'm not saying it was easy here, but it'll be more difficult there for sure.
Oh, definitely. Look, it's totally different standards. Like obviously we're playing in Europe against top teams, and you know, it's hard at times for, you know, a striker up on his own, but look, I'll be looking to recreate the form I showed at Cork over there now. And, you know, I'm full of confidence. I think that's a big part now, you know, going over to the team, like over to Preston. Like I'm still full of confidence, you know, of a different player to what I was when I went over to West Ham. Like, you know, I feel like, you know, I can bring a lot of goals. I feel like I can step up to this level and, you know, go show it to everyone that I can score, you know, goals at championship level. And, you know, I'll be hoping to do that myself and Kevin now. Just want to, you know, as I said there, we're really excited. Just want to get over there now and just be settled and go show everyone what we can do.
Sean, you mentioned there that the manager has changed since you signed for the club, and I remember sitting in Richmond Park watching Cork against St Pat's earlier this season, and Simon Grayson and Peter Ridsdale from Preston were sitting quite close to us, and I actually felt you played averagely from a personal point of view that night, and I know the lads were there to watch you, and the move still happened. You've now got a new manager in Alex Neil, who's come into the club. And I know you linked up with them a couple of weeks ago down in Fota Island for a day or two. I noticed you're wearing the number 24, which you were wearing at Cork, which might be a good superstition, Sean, but probably not ideal for you and for Kevin, knowing that Manager A has signed you and now Manager B is in charge as such.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Like the manager that signed you is not going to be there when we arrive there Monday, but you know, I think you can take it as a positive, like, because I think the new manager now, he's come in, every player now is, you know, a new clean slate, and we'll be looking forward to now just getting in there Monday and just, you know, show him in training what we can do. And obviously he's going to know about me and Kevin, you know, what we're able to do and what we're not able to do, and you know our strengths and stuff. He was at the game, obviously, that we lost to Larnaca there a couple of weeks ago, and so he'll know all about us. Like obviously, like he's new to the place, he's new to the club. He's only starting to get to know his new players. So it's, you know, you can definitely take it as a positive, yeah.
Have you spoken to Simon Grayson since he left the club?
No, I haven't spoken to him at all. No.
Of course, he's gone now. So it's Alex Neil who'll be the manager, Sean. And you're going to look to hit the ground running. The opening league game against Sheffield Wednesday, a home match in 2 weeks' time, and that's a big match on the opening weekend of the Championship. Sheffield Wednesday investing big money again. Didn't make it through the playoffs last year, but I'm sure they'll be aiming to go one better this year, Sean. You've stayed at Cork mainly for these 2 European rounds, and you've still been playing competitive football. How does that work now for you in terms of trying to get into the Preston team? You would have missed a lot of pre-season, but at the same time you're probably fitter than all of those players will be because you've been in season, and I'm sure you'll be putting your hand up to the gaffer and saying, if you want me in the opening day of the season, I'm ready.
Yeah, big time. You know, that stands to us. Like myself and Kev we're going over there playing, you know, nearly 25 games all throughout the season. I think that'll stand to us going over there. We're probably like obviously our match fitness is going to be a lot better than obviously the boys that are there because they're still in pre-season. But look, yeah, as I said there, like, you know, the main priority for me is get over there, just, you know, mingle with the boys, get to know the boys. Obviously we met up a couple of weeks ago, you know, and you know, just keep working hard, just keep my head down, and you know, I still have a lot to learn, like, you know, to, you know, get to the level that I feel that I can, you know, get to, and that's playing at the highest level in England. But like, you know, I'll be hoping to, you know, hit the ground running straight away, you know, get the opportunity, and no doubt if when myself and Kev do get that opportunity, we'll take it absolutely.
Sean, a final 2 questions. You mentioned a couple of times about trying to settle in. You've obviously met your new teammates, but a number of them you would know personally. Andy Boyle and Darrell Horgan, of course. Alan Brown, another ex-Cork City player, is there, to name just 3. Owen Doyle is a fourth, for example, and there's many more asides. So settling in probably won't be as difficult as an Irish boy moving somewhere else, because you know half the squad, and certainly if there's an Irish five-a-side team in training, you'll be odds-on favourites to go and beat everybody before you.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like, I think that was a great factor for me coming here. Like, a lot of Irish players, like Irish contingent over there. Like, obviously you mentioned the two boys, Darrell and Andy. Brownie as well played underage internationals with him, and it's great. And when we went down the photo, the boys were the first ones to come over to us, welcome us, introducing us into our new teammates, the staff and stuff. And they've been brilliant. Not only for that, they've been texting us ever since the move was been announced. Andy and Darrell have been texting me, asking me, do I need anything? Do I need any advice? And obviously asked me about houses, cars, and and obviously getting our phone numbers and stuff like that. Just small things, and they're great for that. And even yesterday, the other day, just texting us, wishing us all the best in the game, and we'll see you Monday. It's just small things like that. It's great, and obviously when you get over there now, it's going to be a lot easier to settle, knowing that there's 5-6 Irish lads right beside you. And, it does make things a lot easier.
Sean, finally on an international front, you've played 12 times for the Irish under-21s, 19s, 17s and so on. Major calls for you to be in the last couple of Ireland squads. Martin O'Neill didn't include you for whatever reason, unbeknownst to me, because I think you should definitely have been in the squad. You haven't been yet. Do you feel your move to England will help? And if so, what hopes do you have international wise? Because Andy and Darrell have made that breakthrough almost as soon as they left the League of Ireland. They were straight in a squad, and it would be quite strange if you're put straight in, given that you're the same player as you were when you were at Cork. But if you can start scoring goals over there, I'm sure an international senior cap may not be too far away.
Yeah, I think the two boys, set the standards. Knowing that we can go from League of Ireland straight off to the Championship and make an impact, and that's what I'll be hoping to do. On the international front, hoping one day that I will throw on that jersey and represent my country. But my main goal now is to concentrate on club level and get into the Preston team first, and then make an impact there, and then we'll start talking international and why not should I be called up. Obviously, as I said there, the main focus for me is just getting the Preston team, and then maybe one day that I will throw on that Irish jersey.
Sean Maguire, very finally, you mentioned to me off air before we started chatting, you were just finished off doing the packing for the big move to England. Is there a pair of white jeans in the suitcase? Because I believe you were seen out and about in Cork City on Friday night in a pair of very tight white jeans.
Yeah, no, the boys are taking a mick out of me actually the past couple of days. They're saying that why am I bringing out my recovery pants because they're so tight. But they'll be packed, and they'll have the blue denim ones and the black ones. But you'll see a few of them now in the next couple of weeks. I'll make sure to send you a few though. Yeah,
because now that you're a championship footballer, the outfits have to match the ability and the hairstyle and the beard. But white jeans, I think if you wear them on the first Preston night out, Sean Maguire, you might be getting a bit of stick off the lads.
We'll see. They might or might not make an appearance. We'll see though.
That is the voice of now Preston North End striker Sean Maguire. Sean, listen, the very best of luck from everybody here at 98 FM. You've been great with your time with us over the last couple of years on our League of Ireland podcast and on the show, and we plan to follow your trip now in England and hopefully at Ireland senior level every step of the way. Sean, the best of luck and well done. Thanks a million.
Thanks very much, Jamie. Go on.